Guys are going to the prom. Got into an accident because they were drunk.
Case number 444. Morning, Mr. Blanchard. You've been brought here from following an accident. A very difficult morning for you, but a very difficult morning for the families being affected. You've taken the life of Matthew Borges and Amanda Dogo. Your charges here, standing in front of us in the court, will be DUI and motor vehicle homicide. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
To a non-guilty plea, I'm going to be sending you to the House of Correction in Worcester to post bail $100,000.
Hello. Thank you all for coming. We are gathered here today in honor of Matthew Bourgeois. He died at age 15 on prom night. Why? He got in a car with a drunk driver. We thought the driver was our friend. We thought that there wasn't another way home. We believed that we could make it home safely. I don't know where to start because his life can't be put into words. Matthew Bourgeois had an amazing life, even though it was short. He was one of my best friends. He was the type of person who stood by you. Maybe I'm using the wrong word when I say friend. He was practically my brother. In fact, I never called him Matthew, I called him Matty B, which always autocorrected to Marty on my phone. This was something we laughed about. I never get to hear his laugh or see him smile again. This eulogy was hard to write because I had to think of good memories. I can't think of anything except the memory of him dead next to me in the car crash. He was very close to his family. He loved his mom endlessly. He picked on his sisters just about as much as he picked on me. And though he would deny it, he loved them. Then there was his meme. There was a special connection there. And of course, the dog. Matty B was a very busy person. He was in yearbook, principal's council. He played saxophone in band. He was also a Boy Scout, and he was close to making Eagle Scout. Though he was school involved, many people didn't know him. He was a shy guy and quiet for the most part. He was probably the sweetest person you would ever meet. He believed in the quote, "Kill them with kindness." Ironically, he died from someone who wasn't that nice. He never took life seriously. He had an amazing sense of humor. He never got mad. He just made a joke about the situation. Many people haven't heard him laugh, but when he laughed really hard, so did everyone else. He was a far too cheerful person. Everyone was someone to him. He would listen to anyone who wanted to talk to him. He never thought of himself better than anyone. He never accepted his own greatness. When he did small things in life to help someone or make them happy, he would say no problem and pretend it was nothing. He gave and gave and gave. He gave everything he had and expected nothing in return. He had a big heart. He tried to please everyone, even if it meant putting what he wanted aside. He was one of the most down-to-earth people you would ever know. Just went with the flow and whatever was going on and made the best of the situation. Matty B was also smart. He had the answer to pretty much any question I ever asked. I always mocked his laugh. I also mocked his dance moves. He was a really bad dancer. One of the best times I remember was playing Just Dance at my house. He told me never to tell anyone, but he's dead now, so I guess it doesn't matter. It was ironic. Anytime we were together, somehow, some way, Taylor Swift music was playing. He and I would stop whatever we were doing and sing at the top of our lungs. We didn't sound that great, but it didn't matter. We also texted lyrics back and forth, wasting texts, but we loved doing it. He was the first person I met that loved nature as much as I did. We would meet in the woods between our houses and spend hours walking on the trail. We didn't even know where we were going, but it didn't matter. During these times, we would talk about everything and nothing. There were times we didn't talk and it was silent, but it was okay. I was there in the car crash with him when he died. I feel guilty. It should have been me. Why wasn't it me? I know given the chance, he would have saved me from death, even if it meant risking his own life. How come I couldn't save him? He died at the scene and there was no saving him. He never wanted to see people cry, and it's unfortunate that his death was an accident in which we cry over today. I mentioned earlier that we text lyrics back and forth, and the last lyrics he texted me were last night, and it said, "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. How can I go on walking in the trail between our houses alone, not sitting next to him at lunch, and not see him waiting at my locker at the end of the day? There will be some spots in my life that are now just empty. And not in my life, but yours too. I want to tell you all so much not to mourn because it is not what he would have wanted. However, whether he wants us to or not, we will mourn. I will mourn. It is tragic, and he's not here to comfort us.
We are also here today to honor Amanda Yoga. Amanda was such a smart, kind girl, and she was taken from us much too soon. I remember when she forgot the H in her name in French, and we called her Sophie for the rest of her entire time in French. She was always a ray of sunshine in everyone's life. I remember the hot days of band camp and sharing book recommendations in homeroom. Her funky style and mismatched neon colors stood out and just set her apart from everyone else. I wish I could say that I hope a tragedy like this never happened again. But we all know too well that it happens a lot. Drunk driving is a problem, and we need to stop it. Amanda's not with us anymore, and this could have been prevented, but some idiot, one we even go to school with, decided to get behind the wheel drunk. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
How you doing?
Good.
Some of you may know me as the kid who used to walk the halls of this school, making people laugh, always smiling, and of course, winning class during my schoolwork. My name is Nick Matrano, and I graduated from BMR in 2012. As you may know, I had an older brother, Chris, who also graduated from this fine establishment in 2009. He was 3 years my senior, and he was my best friend. Growing up with him as my brother was a lot of fun. I remember as young kids we played street hockey, rode our bikes, played PlayStation 2 all night until our parents made us go to bed. As we got older, we remained close and always hung out. When he got his license, he would drive to the mall or to Walmart and Woonsocket with me, listening to Pantera, Biggie Smalls, or the Wu-Tang Clan the whole way. He was my brother, he was my best friend, and he was my role model. Everything he did, I wanted to do. I looked up to him. To me, he was the coolest kid on the planet. When I became a freshman at BMR in 2008, everyone knew I was his younger brother, and they all loved me for it. He always included me in everything he did. We were always there for each other, and I knew we would grow old and remain the best of friends. I could never imagine my life without him until the worst night of my entire life. That night came on Sunday, April 3rd, 2011. My brother was never really an intense partier. Throughout high school, he did what most kids do. He would smoke weed with his buddies and just hang out. But he was never one who would frequent parties and drink a lot. As most of us know, drinking is a habit that can progress during the first years of experimenting with it. My brother was no exception, despite being very careful. By the time April of 2011 came, he had about a year's drinking experience and was relatively new to it. He had just turned 20 on March 20th, and he was working 2 jobs during the week and relaxing during his free time. It was Saturday, April 2nd, and I was at home with my friends, Alex and Damien. We were playing some video games when my brother got home from work around 8 p.m. He walked in and called my dad to let him know he was home, but he didn't tell my dad what he had planned. After getting off the phone, he asked us if we had any plans for the night. We talked for a bit, and he told us he had some girls coming over to hang out. We thought to ourselves, awesome, this should be fun. Turns out that they only hung around for about an hour and drank a few beers with him. They were very pretty, but I distinctly remember they thought my friends and I were nerds. I didn't care, I knew we weren't. After they left, he finished their beers and we hung out some more. By this time, it was around midnight. We listened to some music and he put on the song Parental Discretion is Advised by NWA. He wanted to show us how awesome it was. We listened to the DOC rap followed by Dr. Dre and MC Ren. What I'll remember about this moment forever is that my brother was very confident and he loved just being himself. These lyrics show just that. He specifically showed us how good Ice Cube's verse was, coming in with, I be what is known as a bandit, you gotta hand it to me when you truly understand it. He tried to turn it up and accidentally skipped to the next song. It killed the entire vibe and he decided he was going to leave. He said, hey man, I'm out of here, I'm going to my buddy's house, I'll catch you guys later. I responded with, all right Chris, see you later, have fun, love you man. As he was shutting the basement door, case of Miller High Life in hand, he turned around and replied, I love you too, Nick. He shut the door and walked out front to get in his car. Little did I know that would be the last time I ever saw my brother's smiling face. My friends and I hung out for a little while longer and decided to call it a night around 12:30 a.m. The next thing I know, I was awakened at 4:30 by the sound of my dad crying downstairs. He kept crying and screaming, no, tell me it isn't true. That was the most terrifying sound I'd ever heard. My father, the strongest man I know, crying and screaming those words. I was worried. I looked outside to see if anyone was at my house. I saw a police car in the driveway, and my initial thought was that maybe my grandmother had passed, but I thought, nah, there wouldn't be any cops here. When I realized a moment later that my brother's car wasn't in the driveway, I started to get really nervous, and I woke my friend Alex up. Al, I think something happened to my brother. I hope he's all right. Maybe he's only injured. I hope he isn't dead. I knew my brother had been drinking. I was too scared to go downstairs, so I nervously waited in my room. The police left, and my dad immediately came upstairs. He opened the door, and through tears, he said, Nick, I need to talk to you. We went across the hall into his room. He sat in his bed, and the tears still remained in his eyes. Nick, we lost Chris. What do you mean? I said. Your brother died drunk driving. I hugged my dad and we cried together. We went into my room and he told my friends, I'm sorry, but you have to go home. My son is dead. They looked at me and at each other. They were shocked and confused. I then explained what happened. As my friends left, my dad started making phone calls to let everyone know what had happened. He first called my mom and told her the bad news. At this point in my life, my parents had been divorced for 3 years, and I hadn't talked to my mom in a long time. I was angry with her and hurt about the split, but the truth was that I missed her every day and I wish things would go back to normal, but that's life. When my dad handed me the phone, she immediately said, "Nick, Chris is gone. I love you. You can't stay away from me anymore. We need to have a relationship." I said, "I know, Mom. I was thinking the exact same thing. I love you too." After he called my sisters and some other family and friends to tell them the bad news, my dad and I drove up to the scene of the accident on Chestnut Hill Road. My dad wanted to see where it happened. This was at 6 a.m. When we arrived, I saw 2 flatbed trucks with my brother's car on each of them. It had split completely in 2 pieces. The engine compartment and what was left of the front seats was on one truck, and the rear seats and trunk was on the other. It was really scary to look at, but it put the whole event into perspective and made me realize this was unfortunately very real. We later found out that my brother had been going 70 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone and made no attempt to turn the corner. He hit a telephone pole and slammed the driver's door into a tree. We went home and I called some friends to let them know too. It seemed as if everyone I knew was coming over. Siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends. I remember all these people were crying. Most of them I'd never seen cry before. I specifically remember my friend Jack running across the lawn, holding back tears. We just hugged and cried. Chris was a brother to all my friends. It was a terrible day, so much pain and sadness. It was the worst day of my life. From that point on, my life has changed forever. Many things have happened to me because of this tragedy, both some good and bad. On the good side, I now have a relationship with my mom again, and I have a very new outlook on life. But on the bad side, I lost the best friend I will ever have. Because of my brother's death, I live every day like it is my last. I try to have as much fun as possible, not work myself to death. Money is important, but it isn't everything. You can't take it with you when you die. But you do take the memories you made with the people you loved. I'm gonna be 20 in July, and I'll be the age my brother was when he died. I can't even imagine dying now. I'm just a kid. I haven't even lived yet. There will come a time where I'll have lived longer than my brother, and there will come a time where I'll have lived my life without my brother longer than I did with him, and that thought saddens me. He has missed out on so much. Great new music, great concerts, movies, me getting my license, my handsome nephew Dominic being born, both of my sisters getting houses, my sister Sasha getting married to Eric, the coolest dude alive, whom my brother never met, and the list goes on. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about my brother. I dream about him when I sleep. I miss him and I would give anything to have him back. I wish he could just cruise with me in my 1978 Chevy Nova, listening to some sweet tunes, owning the streets of Millville. But that will never happen. He will never see me get married, he will never meet my children, and he will never come back. His life ended. For him, it is over. All because of one night and one mistake. A mistake for which he paid the ultimate price. If I had the option to live out the rest of my life without him, or hang out with him for one more day, but it would be my last day alive, I would choose that one day because I know I would die the happiest I've ever been with my best friend beside me. Prom is a fun night, so have fun, but please be smart. You don't want your parents, your siblings, or your friends to experience the same pain that I felt. No one wants to go through this. Please don't make them. Not only on prom night, but every night. Enjoy life, have fun, but be safe. No amount of fun is worth losing your life. Chris, I love you more than anything, and I look forward to the day we meet again. Thank you.
All right, I just want to thank a few people for making this day possible. A lot of guys volunteered their time to come help you guys out, and we don't want to see anybody get hurt. We want you guys to have a good prom and enjoy yourself. I want to thank Frank Cartier for the funeral home. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't even happen. He's a big part of this. He does a lot of schools, and he's here for you guys. Chief Sweeney for letting us do this today. Blackstone Fire Department, Millville Fire Department, Woonsocket Fire Department, and And Mr. Duchamp for allowing us to come in here and talk to you guys. And Mr. Dudak, he's never seen this before. This is his first year doing it, and I'm glad he allowed us to do it. Again, just enjoy your prom, have a good time. It's probably one of the best years of your life, you seniors, and you don't get it back. So thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it.
Lieutenant Cottonwall pretty much thanked everybody. I was just going to thank Mr. Duchamp, Mr. Dudek, thank you for letting us put this on. Nick, thank you so much for coming and speaking. I taught your brother. He was one of the funniest kids I've ever worked with. I went to his wake and funeral, sat there and cried with you guys. I don't want to have to do that for any of you out in the audience. So please have fun, be safe. Don't drink or use and drive. We want you guys to have a great time, but we want to see you after April vacation. I do want to thank my SAD kids for working so hard on this. They did a great job. And I hope you guys take something away from this. Thank you.